What is going on, FA Nation? John and Pemba here with Howard Bender. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NFL DFS Playbook Preview Show. It is week 16 of the NFL season. We're coming around the holidays here, Bender. We got our holiday sale going on for everybody who wants to come join the family. Got your playbooks coming out. We got Saturday games here this weekend, beginning of the Saturday game stretch for the NFL where they continue to monopolize our lives. But some opportunities to build some money, make some cash, build those bankrolls heading into the holiday days. How are we feeling, sir?
We're feeling great. I mean, listen, my example lineups that I threw out there last week didn't do the cashing damage that the week before did, but I did like the full scoring of the playbook that that we usually that we used to do all the time. And I mean, if you just looked at the playbook and the dartboard, it doesn't matter if you played on DraftKings. The optimal lineup, 253.9 on FanDuel. The optimal lineup, 208.2. The pay lines were not nearly as high this past week as they were the week before because a lot of the chalk didn't hit. So, listen, I'm feeling good, man. I'm in a nice little zone here. We got a nice 11-game slate for the main slate, 12 if you're playing on FanDuel. I mean, listen, the playbooks have been hot. The coaching pieces have been hot. Everything's been working our way, here to tuck a little late holiday cash back into our pockets.
Sure. Let's get into it. We go position by position. We'll build the lineup there at the end of the show here as well. Top price quarterback, Josh Allen. You and I had a brief discussion before we went live on the viability of Josh Allen here this weekend. We are, the man's been Superman, right? As you put it. 44 and 54 fantasy points the last 2 weekends here for Josh Allen. To your point, those games were 90 and 86 total points scored. They actually lost the game in which he had 54 fantasy points. Were able to come out on top against Detroit there. Your thinking beyond this, and I'll let you expand on that, is he's got the Patriots at home. He's not going to need to be Superman this weekend. $8,700 Josh Allen on DraftKings. I am sure he's even more expensive over on FanDuel. What is it? Just simply the fact that you don't think he's going to pay off the price point this week because of the matchup?
That's 100% it. Listen, I think the world of Josh Allen and what he's done has been nothing short of amazing. And he's been like a cash game lock QB for me for these last 2 weeks. I've had him in there. This is the week that I pivot off because this is the week that everybody's like, oh, it's the Patriots. Whatever. Of course, Josh Allen's going to be able to deliver. I mean, he's $800 more than Jalen Hurts on FanDuel. Where is he on DraftKings? How much more expensive?
He is 900.
900 more. So, for me, Josh Allen was Superman in the last 2 weeks. He doesn't need to be Superman here against the Patriots. They just need to win. They want to grab one more win, lock in where they're at. I don't think they're not going to end up with home field advantage. They're like 2 games behind the Chiefs. And so you don't need to do all the things that you did in the previous 2 weeks in order to beat the Patriots. Sure. You just don't. So, what's the incentive there? I mean, does he just want to run up the score on the New England Patriots? Maybe if Belichick was the head coach, sure, right? Who wouldn't want to do that to Belichick? But, the Patriots are a non-entity. Nobody cares about them anymore. They're completely irrelevant to the playoff picture, and their defense sucks. So I just don't think that the Bills are going to be piling it on in order to make that happen. So why am I paying up? Why am I paying Superman Josh Allen prices when all I need is Clark Kent Josh Allen?
Well, I mean, I think the yardage has obviously driven up the total fantasy points the last couple of weeks, 363 to 342 to your point, very unlikely probably to reach those numbers here. I could still see 4 total touchdowns coming from Josh Allen, though, this week. I mean, they're still going to score 28, 35 points against New England here this weekend. I mean, I checked the weather. It's going to be cold, but there's not really any expected precipitation. So it's going to be a cold game. They play in the cold all the time. The Patriots defense is very bad, both against the run and the pass. We've seen rushing quarterbacks have success against them in recent weeks with Kyler Murray and Anthony Richardson. So sure, maybe he doesn't throw for 362, but I think we could easily get him throwing for like 250. And if he throws for 2, runs for 2, throws for 3, runs for 1, like you're still going to go and look at him probably going up close to 30 fantasy points this week. So that's my reasoning for still willing to pay up for him. I think he's the best quarterback overall on the board. We'll talk about some of the other obviously matchups, and there are definitely some value plays that I like. And, at times I think maybe we overvalue the quarterback position in DFS, but the last couple of weeks, if you played Josh Allen, you were in the money. It didn't really matter what the rest of your lineup looked like.
Yeah. And I'm totally, listen, again, he was in the watch list. I'm not against him. I just don't think that when I'm building my lineups, I mean, yeah, can you just throw him into a cash lineup? Sure. If you've got the money to throw around. The problem that I have is that, maybe I'll use him in like a GPP tournament, but
Sure.
in a cash lineup, when that money is as valuable as it is, because one of the things that we see all the time, and this happens more and more when people fall out of their fantasy football, their season-long fantasy football playoffs, and they do turn their attention to DFS, you're getting a lot of amateur DFS players who are like, yeah, screw it, man. You know what? Let me throw a little something in there and let me see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what if they're playing in like a 50-50 or even like a double up or a triple up or whatever, they're using GPP tactics. They're going to use like a dartboard, player, because he's like the pay down. Now, if he's not the chalkiest of chalk pay downs, then what are you going to do? Then then you're building a GPP lineup and you're playing it into a cash game. I'll beat that 9 times out of 10 with a high floor, zero fat cash lineup. So the money that I need, I don't need to spend it on Josh Allen in here. I can easily just go naked Jalen Hurts. So we can pivot off of that and talk about Hurts's matchup here against Washington. Yes, it's on the road, but this is going to be a competitive game. This is going to be one of those games where, yeah, you're going to have Saquon Barkley running hard on Washington, but you're going to need Jalen Hurts to throw the football. Now, I know A.J. Brown just got listed as questionable, but you still have Devonta Smith, and there are still receiving weapons here for Jalen Hurts. But again, how many times have you heard somebody piss him out? Oh, Saquon Barkley got tackled at the 1 11 times this season, and only once did he get into the end zone. It was all Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Sure. I have no problems paying up for Jalen Hurts this week. Again, the Washington's defense, nothing really that special here. Didn't have the greatest game against them earlier this season. Only the one rushing touchdown, no passing touchdowns. 19 fantasy points at $7,800 isn't really what we're looking for, but we've seen obviously higher games out of him in the recent weeks.
Sure.
If I wasn't paying up for Josh Allen, I wrote this up in the quarterback because Josh Allen's actually the only top priced quarterback section that I have up there. I just went mid-tier in value, and that's where the ownership is also currently going, and we've seen the ownership certainly adjust as we get closer to Sunday. But I don't mind in the mid-tier going to Sam Darnold against Seattle. Loved seeing what Jordan Addison has been doing to complement Justin Jefferson of late, and Justin Jefferson's kind of a beast in his own right anyways. Kyler Murray is in an interesting spot here because James Conner is going to get a ton of love this week, rightfully so, against Carolina, but Carolina's defense is really just as bad against all facets of the opposing team's offense. So if this turns into a Kyler Murray week at $6,100, I certainly don't mind that play as 2 guys in the mid-tier on DraftKings.
I like the Kyler Murray call for sure. I'm definitely in on that. He needs a big game here against Carolina. So I don't necessarily know what kind of rushing yardage you're going to get out of him unless there's like specific design runs that they do, which they probably should considering the fact that it's Carolina. It's the worst run defense. I do think he needs to turn out, though, a little bit. I think he needs to connect with, Trey McBride needs a receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of hearing that stupid narrative over and over again also. Marvin Harrison Jr. and he need to connect. I know J.C. Horn's going to be on Harrison a bunch, but I'm still a believer in him. So this needs to be a big game for Kyler Murray. I like that a lot. I got to be honest with you, man. I'm very leery of Sam Darnold on the road in Seattle. There is going to be rain. And I'll tell you why. And this is one of those things where I look at a game and I look at a point spread and I'm like, really? You had when this game opened, when the lines opened up on Monday, right?
Yeah.
And Geno Smith was banged up. We weren't even looking at Geno Smith. Like, it was like, oh, are we really going to get Sam Howell? Are we really gonna? And you've got Seattle just kind of reeling right now. We could even have Kenny McIntosh as their lead running back.
Yeah. Well, actually, just right before we did go live, both running backs taken off the injury report for Friday.
Okay, great.
So good
with
news
all of that, did the line move at all?
Let me see.
Because that's what I'm talking about right now. If everything's coming up Minnesota, and we love the Vikings, and they're the team of destiny right now, why are they only a 3-point favorite over Seattle? It's not just because it's a road game. Like there's something suspicious with that line for me, because when you look at these two teams, whether you're looking at them on paper or whatnot, you look at this and you're like, of course Minnesota can beat the Seahawks by a touchdown.
Sure.
5.5 points even. It's a 3-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense to me.
Sure. I mean, I definitely think the road has a little bit to do with it. Obviously the way the spreads are here. I'm just kind of looking at the way that offense is starting to break out a little bit in Seattle's just defense in general, trending down. Yeah, it says scattered showers potentially for Seattle here.
Mm-hmm.
It is Seattle, so it always kind of rains a little bit. But Darnold's been about as good on the road as he's been in the dome this year, so it's not like one of those quarterbacks that have drastic home road splits. And again, I just kind of like the way the offense has been trending with Addison, with TJ Hawkinson, and obviously Justin Jefferson there. So I don't mind him. Kyler's certainly a bit more up and down because we know he can have big games. We just haven't seen them consistently enough. And then if you go into the value tier, at least for now, everybody again is going right to Anthony Richardson as a top roster quarterback. I hate that. I don't like playing it.
I do too. Thank you. I saw that on ownership. I was like, why is he first?
Yeah, I don't really want to do that.
What do they know?
I like the two QBs up here. Aaron Rodgers, again, home, going to be throwing a lot. The Rams, a dome team, or not a dome team, but are they a dome team? Are they still a dome team? I forget what they got out there.
I mean, it's not necessarily a dome. There is a
they used to be a dome.
Open.
Yeah,
it's open, but yet the field is completely covered. So even if it rained at SoFi, which it never does, but even if it
West
did,
Coast team going East Coast in the winter generally portrays better for East Coast teams here. So I don't mind the Jets the way they're rolling right now. I'm just like a Caleb Williams truther at this point. I don't care that he didn't have a great performance against Minnesota. They've actually had much better second halves than they have had first halves. So it feels like they're really good at sucking for 2 quarters, figuring out what they're doing wrong, and then making adjustments in the second half of games. Detroit was that same thing on Thanksgiving where they were really bad early. Caleb Williams had to bring them all the way back in that second half. Obviously, they didn't win that game, but the fantasy production was huge. And then you look at Detroit. They are dropping like flies in that defense. They continue to deal with injuries week after week. They lost 2 more guys last week in their secondary. Caleb Williams at home. Still got DJ Moore. Still got Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze making plays. I'll be willing to go right back here with Caleb Williams and see if we get one of these better performances than we got last week on the road against Minnesota.
Okay. I like Stafford. I'm perfectly fine with Matthew Stafford going up against the Jets. The Jets, I mean, I put them into the contrarian corner video, which you guys will be able to find here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. For the SoFi, I mean, listen, you know what? Yes, he played for all those years in Detroit, and he traveled to Green Bay, and he played in a ton of outdoor stadiums, played in Chicago a bunch, everything like that. I'm not worried about him going to New Jersey, where apparently it's supposed to be like between 28 and 32 degrees and sunny.
Sure.
So it's a nice day. It's going to be brisk there in New York. It's Cooper Kupp, who won't put up a 0 this week. It's Puka Nacua. The Jets secondary, the Jets vaunted pass defense has been absolute garbage lately. Well, I got the numbers right here
Let
for
McCorkle Jones throw all over them last week.
What's that?
You let McCorkle Jones throwing all over them last week.
Oh, dude. I mean, it was crazy, but here we go. The Jets secondary is allowing 285.8 passing yards per game with 7 passing touchdowns allowed over their last 5 games. That's the Jets secondary right now. The vaunted Jets secondary.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine. You look at the 4 games that Stafford played before the rain-soaked game on Thursday night. 260.3 passing yards per game, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions over a 4-game span.
Sure.
Like, I'm perfectly fine with him coming into New York and just, you know what? Just giving me 250 and 2. Because that's like, if I'm paying down for a cash game QB, I'm happy with 250 and 2.
Sure. And then the rookie, Michael Penix Jr., home against the Giants, $4,500. You got a 4K starter, you kind of always throw him into a lineup, but people are building second highest projected roster quarterback as of right now. He's certainly surrounded by a lot of talent here. What do we expect, and what do you think to expect from Michael Penix here?
What to expect? I have no idea. I have no clue. Like, I see what he was like in college, right? When he transferred over to Washington, and he was playing in Ryan Grubb's system, and he had Rome Odunze that he was, who was it? It was
Jalen Polk and Rome Odunze.
Jalen Polk, Rome Odunze. I think it was Jalen McMillan. McMillan from there also. Yep. So he had these 3 great wide receivers, and this, like, but like the thing about it was that he was like constantly chucking up like a hero ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was instructed, and he was told, just don't take a sack. Don't take a sack. Throw the ball up there. Give your receivers a chance to get it. He can't do that in the NFL. He can't just chuck it up there and hope that Drake London, or Darnell Mooney comes down with it. This isn't the, this isn't the Pac-12 or whatever the hell, division it is. So, I worry about him. I will build a lineup or two using Penix just because he's just so dirt cheap.
Yeah.
But I am not a huge fan. Not a huge fan.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I think for you, in agreement with you as well, just the value on him. It doesn't take much for him to get the over on the on the value there, and if he does throw for a couple of touchdowns or runs for a touchdown or whatever against the Giants, it's going to hit. And you can really jam in some lineups.
You know who I like down at like the bottom tier? I just like it for a GPP stack.
Okay.
And that is Mac Jones with Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange.
Okay.
On the road in Vegas, climate controlled, terrible defense, doesn't have Max Crosby wreaking havoc anymore. The ground game is whatever. I mean, this is for me, this is like you know what? It doesn't hurt to build a lineup like this and do like multiple GPP lineups, because you know that the targets are consolidated.
Sure.
He's not throwing it to anybody else. He's not throwing to Parker Washington. He's either throwing to Brian Thomas Jr. or Brenton Strange. And considering how cheap Mac Jones is and how cheap Brenton Strange is, oh baby.
Sure. 2 of the last 3 games has been pretty solid as a quarterback, so we'll see. Running
Does that hurt you as a Patriots fan?
No.
You love Drake.
Drake May's the one. Yeah, he's the one of one here.
So. He's the one. For the record, by the way, just for anybody who is playing on FanDuel, I am using the crap out of Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a variety of different ways.
Fantastic matchup for them against Dallas here this weekend. Especially Mike Evans. Mike Evans needs 1,000 yards. Running backs. Bijan with the rookie quarterback, obviously super popular this week.
Mm-hmm.
Great matchup, coming off a monster game. Hey, he's the Bijan Robinson we all expected last year when Arthur Smith refused to use him. You got Jahmyr Gibbs by himself at $7,500 against Chicago Bears. I don't know how much Craig Reynolds is actually going to be involved in this offense, but
I really like genuinely wondered that, only because I get it's a division game, but is Dan Campbell going to put Jahmyr Gibbs, like, is he just going to give him like everything there? Because it's a run funnel defense. It's super soft matchup. Yeah. I love Jahmyr Gibbs this week. I think
it's going to be like a 70-30, 80-20.
Okay.
Sadly, I have to start Craig Reynolds in fantasy football this week because I have no other running backs I'm starting Devin Singletary and Craig Reynolds. That's where I'm at with the running back position due to all of the injuries that my team has suffered.
That's unfortunate, sir.
Super unfortunate. Probably not going to pull it off unless we get another hero, Devontae Adams, the Lamar Jackson week. Anyways, Gibbs 75, absolutely love it. James Conner was a chalk monster last week, destroyed the Patriots. Probably going to destroy the Carolina Panthers. Big price bump because of the matchup, but totally worth it. Going to get the volume. One of the best running backs when healthy in football, continues to just be that guy. You got Hubbard on the other side, James Cook if you're not a Josh Allen guy. Some good 7K, high 6K running backs this week.
James Cook is a fantastic GPP play because everybody's going to go to Josh Allen again.
Sure.
He is a fantastic GPP play. Great contrarian move there. Just got to say.
Oh, the rushing touchdowns to James Cook this year, right? 14 rushing touchdowns, even though Josh Allen is also running for a ton of touchdowns. So many who thought that they were worried about James Cook this year because of Josh Allen's vulturing, he is paying it off still. So definitely in a spot there. I assume Pollard will be fine, but if not, we'll go with Tajay Spears in a little bit. Aaron Jones, really good last week, $6,400 for him against Seattle. Touchdowns now in 3 of the last 4. If you're going to go there on a pace for another 1,000 yards for Aaron Jones.
It's not bad. Not interested in any of the Seattle backs at all.
No.
Breece Hall at 6,100 on DraftKings is effing criminal.
Yeah, he got saved by that late touchdown, though. Only 9 carries in that game.
Yeah, that was against Jacksonville where Aaron Rodgers wanted to pad his stats. Now you're going up against the Rams, and while yes, I think Aaron Rodgers will try to compete in the second half, you run on the Rams. They give up the 5th most rushing yards per game.
Sure.
Right? They've given up 13 rushing touchdowns, which isn't the most in the league, but it's probably a little bit, at average, maybe a little bit above average. To me, it just seems crazy that we're going to price Breece Hall down at 6,100 for that. It's nuts. I mean, FanDuel still has him priced up. He's right there with Jahmyr Gibbs and Devon Achane.
Yeah.
I think this is a great value move here on DraftKings.
Yeah, we thought he was a great value last week with the big drop to $6,400. And again, he really got saved with that late touchdown.
I did not. I didn't even put him into the playbook. I wasn't in on Breece Hall last week. Who was I in on last week? Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, and I was also in on Alan Lazard, who that son of a bitch dropped a very easy touchdown pass. He would have paid off immediately for that.
Are you worried about just 48% of the offensive snaps for Breece Hall last week, though?
No, this dude, he was been dealing with the injury.
Right.
He missed the game and he, banged up for the last last 2 games. This is a great get right game for him. Okay. He is 100% healthy. He's been back at practices now. He's not walking in with any kind of injury designation.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man.
The snap count for me was a bit concerning there. Just because he was playing 80%, he dropped down to 48 last
They were
week.
just limiting him. What do you mean? You think that suddenly everybody in the Jets organization is out on Breece Hall?
No, but I think they could just be limiting him. But we'll see, I guess. What do you think on Jerome Ford? You've always been a Jerome Ford guy.
I don't mind him. I think it's going to be a little worse. Cincinnati can sell out a little bit more to stop the run and to worry about, running back checkdowns from DTR. I think they can play DTR a lot differently than they play Jameis Winston. With Winston, you always got to be back and you always have to worry about him chucking the ball 50 times a game. I don't think that you have that same concern with Dorian Thompson-Robinson underneath. So I don't mind Ford, but it's not my favorite.
Okay. Any value running backs? Are you in on Patrick Taylor? Who seems to be the guy here?
I don't know what's his ownership look like now, because I don't think that he's going to end up being a free square. I think
second highest running back behind Jahmyr Gibbs.
There you go. So it's for cash games, it's a free square. If you really want to pay down, then you might as well give it a shot. I mean, here's the thing. It's Miami. They do have a good run defense. They don't give up a lot of rushing yards per game, but you can run on them a little bit. So given it's Kyle Shanahan versus Mike McDaniel and who's going to be doing what and whatever, I think Patrick Taylor he's worth the look. He's use him in cash because it's a free square. If for some reason you need that, really significant pay down for a running back, then you can use him in the GPP, but he's not my favorite.
Amir Abdullah had 7 catches in that game against Atlanta. I'd rather play Amir Abdullah over Alexander Madison if I had to pick one here against Jacksonville.
Yeah, again, I'm not really. Jacksonville's run defense isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's like you throw on them.
Well, that's why I'm not using Amir for the running. I'm using him for the pass catching.
Yeah, but I don't even think they have like a pass rush that's going to require Aiden O'Connell to be checking it down so much. I don't know.
They got the other Josh Allen. You never know. All right, let's go on over to the wide receiver position here.
Okay.
Jamar Chase, $8,500. Probably no. I guess T. Higgins not on the injury report now. All right, didn't carry. There's no Hill to run anymore, so we weren't able to know. Looks like T. Higgins is going to be good to go then. So you have Chase and Higgins against Cleveland. Justin Jefferson, you liked Nakua. If you're looking to spend up at wide receiver this week, where are we going?
Any one of those three. Okay. I mean, I'll favor Jamar Chase and Puka Nakua over Justin Jefferson because I think there's something funky going on over in Seattle.
Okay,
with Minnesota. Mike Evans is obvious. Oh, he's not even. Where is Mike Evans on DraftKings?
He's not. He's on FanDuel. We go over.
Oh, there. That's right. That's right. Okay, yeah. So I'm looking at Mike Evans here. He's right behind Puka Nakua on the Sunday night game. So yeah, I mean, if I'm playing on DraftKings, Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, I'm paying up. On FanDuel, Jamar Chase, Puka Nakua, and Mike Evans, I'll pay up for.
Sure. Mid-tier options. Cooper Kupp is a great price at $6,500, as is Garrett Wilson. You liked Brian Thomas Jr. there at $63. I've been all in on Jordan Addison myself at $6,200. Neighbors and JSN, both really good prices too. Neighbors, $6,100. Going to get that Terrell defense. And then JSN. I keep telling you that the Minnesota Vikings pass defense really isn't that great. This feels like a really good spot for JSN at $6K.
Yeah. I think it's a great spot. Him and Neighbors are priced up so much on FanDuel that it makes it very difficult. Like Neighbors is 8,200, JSN 7,900.
Oh, thanks. So. That's crazy. But $6K JSN on a PPR league.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's a great value. We should just build like the all value lineup over there. Breece Hall, JSN, Malik Neighbors at 61 is a great bargain for sure.
And then I mentioned I like the Chicago guys. DJ Moore's $5,700. Keenan Allen is $53. I mean, I don't get the pricing here for Chicago.
Don't mess with Keenan Allen, people. Don't mess with him.
Yeah, you'll get blown up and then trolled all week. So,
and then be right.
And then be right, exactly. So I'm in on both of those plays here for Chicago. Again, I do like. I mean, even if you wanted to check out Rome Odunze, he still had 7 targets in that game. So, $5,100, some good value in the 5K range with the Chicago plays. Under $5,000. Do you have any interest in a Tim Patrick, a Ray McLeod? What? I mean,
I was eyeballing Ray McLeod in the matchup here against the Giants because he plays so much out of the slot also that I was kind of eyeballing that. Maybe that helps a little bit with Penix as well because Penix will probably, have like a low ADOT for his passing. So, McLeod is definitely somebody to take a look at. You've whipped through like so many wide receivers that we never even like talked about that I still feel.
All right, who do you like?
Conversation. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a solid play and very undervalued as well. Again, I think this is a game that Kyler Murray really needs to step up. He really needs to step it up.
He's just sucked.
What's that?
He's just sucked, Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's been disappointing, but you know what? If people were drafting this guy in the 13th round of their fantasy football drafts, then nobody would be saying shit about it. But he was drafted stupidly in the 2nd round by everybody, And so it's immediate like disappointment. He had 3 really good games at the start of the season, and then everything kind of tapered off.
Well, I'm talking strictly from a DFS perspective. He's been very boom or bust. I mean,
He's been very inconsistent, and I love this matchup for him now.
Okay.
I definitely do. I think he's worth taking a look at in this one here. Jacoby Myers, who's off the injury report and gets what's his face? Gets Aiden O'Connell back against the Jaguars. It's just very
like cash game play for Myers.
Yeah, it's a great cash game play, I think, for sure. I agree with you, DJ Moore. I'm scrolling through on FanDuel.
Sure.
Adam Thielen, I think, is a great value against Arizona. It's not a great pass defense. I mean, it's okay, but it's not great. So I think Adam Thielen in full point PPR. I mean, the dude just keeps getting targets after targets after targets. Like his target share dropped from 32.4% to 25% with Jalen Coker in the lineup. But now Xavier Legette is out of the lineup this week. So you'll get Coker in there, but you're going to get Thielen.
Coker on the injury report, too, is questionable.
What's that?
Coker's on the injury report as well.
Yeah. So this is going to be another one for Thielen. Jameson Williams going up against the Chicago Bears. If you just look at it, Jalen Johnson is probably going to be paying a lot more attention to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if he's going to travel with him to the slot, but on the plays where Amon-Ra is lined up on the outside, Jalen Johnson's going to be the guy covering him. And the DVOA tells you that when the Bears rank 30th in DVOA against the wide receiver 2.
Yeah,
I know that J-Mo didn't have a great game the last time these guys played, but that was also with 2 healthy running backs and a game inside the dome.
Yeah, Sam Laporta had the big day against Chicago on Thanksgiving.
Laporta had that big day against Chicago. So, let's see. On FanDuel, I think Jalen McMillan is in play for a pay down. I think that's perfectly fine. Not great, though. I don't love it. I do think Keon Coleman is worth a little sniff there, especially if you think that Josh Allen's going to have a big day. Keon Coleman just taking it downfield. Obviously, there's something going on anti-Amari Cooper. So
yeah, I would rather Shakir. Obviously, he's the one getting a lot more to the volume there. He's more expensive on DraftKings, $5,900 versus Coleman, and his pricing there. Yeah, Cooper goose egging after having a monster game the game before that, certainly confusing to kind of decide where you want to go. I mentioned Tim Patrick, obviously $4,500. He's playing snaps, so yeah, he's gonna get some targets. Almost had that touchdown on Thanksgiving, unfortunately, did not for me.
If Jalen Coker is out, David Moore immediately becomes in play for Carolina.
Okay,
that's a huge pay down.
Sure. So you have that. Wandale Robinson's 41 for get Drew Lock back as his quarterback this week against Atlanta. See any other values? Malik Washington, no Jalen Waddle this week. Would you give Malik Washington?
Oh, I would give Malik Washington a look with no Jalen Waddle. Absolutely. Jalen Waddle, the greatest wide receiver of all time, and everybody should play him every single week. That Jalen Waddle?
Can't help you get hurt. Can't help it.
No.
Can't help injuries.
What was his excuse to start the year?
Can't help with injuries. Quarterback play. Had no quarterback. We went over this. Any other wide receivers for you?
No, I don't think there's any other wide receivers. No, I don't see anybody.
Helping your Tampa Bay love, K-Don is doubtful for this week, so you'd give the wide receivers on the Sunday Night Football game a boost. We go to tight end here. Brock Bowers, 65. McBride, 62. Kittle, 6K. Your top 3. All have been really good. You find yourself looking to spend up at the tight end position this weekend?
It's just going to be a matter of whether or not I can afford it, because they're all in. It depends on who I can afford. It's funny. There's only 177. Bowers is 77, Kittle's 76, and McBride is 75 on FanDuel. Yeah. So I'll probably start with Brock Bowers, and if I need an extra $100, I'll go down to Kittle. If I need another $100, I'll go down to McBride. But yeah, that's I'm perfectly fine with any of those guys there. I might just avoid Jonnu Smith. I might avoid a bunch of Miami stuff here, just depending on whether or not Teron Armstead is on the offensive line, because that actually created some serious problems for Tua this past week. And not to mention the fact you also have Fred Warner, who does some coverage work for San Francisco.
Yeah.
And whatever linebacker is that's, next to him obviously wants to play more than Devondre Campbell. So at least he'll have a go get him kind of attitude.
Yeah, Campbell suspended for 3 weeks there. Again, he had Laporta with the big game against Chicago with the 2 touchdowns, only 3 catches, 6 yards, but had 2 scores. 7 for 111 against Buffalo in that game. That was just insane. I don't know if we can.
That was more of like Buffalo was beating the crap out of him and went into the prevent defense and didn't want to give up any long yardage. Yeah. So then all Jared Goff did was just hit Laporta in the middle of the field. Right. You look at him, his 7 catches for 111, was it?
Yep.
I think 5 of those catches came in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, a lot of garbage time for sure. You mentioned Strange. Strange is $3,500 on DraftKings, so he's not as cheap, obviously, as he was when he was min-price the week before. But still a mid-tier value play that you can kind of get in your lineup. I don't think anybody would really scoff going in that direction here. Now that T. Higgins is back, kind of kills my Mike Gesicki love. I thought we were looking at a no T. Higgins week.
Dude, I think I'm telling you, man. I think you'll when you go check out the contrarian video, I'm in on Gesicki actually as a good GPP contrarian play, because just because T. Higgins is out there doesn't mean that he's not going to be decoyed or kind of limited or anything like that. I think
the injury report. I think that's my issue with T. If he was on the injury report still, I would kind of agree with you, but completely off the injury report, like I think the league would. And I feel like that do they not have like reporting fines on injuries? Like I don't know. But
did he put in a full practice on Friday?
Let's go back and check the status here. Does not carry. No, limited sessions, but does not carry an injury designation.
Okay. I'll take those limited sessions all day long.
Because I was in on Gesicki. His numbers without T. Higgins are great this year. He takes on that number 2 wide receiver spot. So where else are you looking to go, I guess? Was there another tight end that you like here? I threw a dart at Austin Hooper. I talked to Coop about this last week on the show. The Patriots are going a lot of 2 tight ends. The tight ends are getting targets. Obviously, Hunter Henry is the guy that gets a lot of them, but for $3,100, Austin Hooper is making the most of his opportunities. He's actually catching literally everything thrown to him for the last 4 games.
Yeah. I mean, if we're paying all the way down or whatever, I'll probably give a look at Ben Sinnott because I don't think Zach Ertz is going to play.
Yeah, officially questionable Ertz.
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to play, but Ben Sinnott's probably that would be like my dart throw that I would look in there. No, there's no really that, stands out all that much to me for this week. I mean, on FanDuel, Jake Ferguson going up against Tampa Bay, who can't cover the tight end. I think that's worth a shot. You know what? I think it's worth a shot in DFS for a GPP tournament to try out Kyle Pitts. Who the F knows, right? I mean, I don't think it's a great play. And I've replaced him in all my season-long leagues that I'm in the playoffs with him because I just don't trust him at all, and I don't trust Penix. But if you're sitting there doing a GPP tournament and you're going to use Penix, well, I'd rather use London and Pitts than London and Mooney because you'll save a little bit of money. But more importantly, it's about the low ADOT throws, and if you think that's what they're going to end up doing.
What do we make of Chigakonko getting 10 targets last week?
That's Mason Rudolph, man. I think that's definitely worth exploring.
$3,400. Chigakonko right there. 8
Chiggy.
All right, let's go to defense. Your Falcons are the top price defense. The Falcons haven't really done anything too inspiring defensively this season, but have had the sacks turn up the last couple of weeks here. They got the Giants. They're at home. Drew Lock, who does like the run. So there's that. And you maybe get him in some situations where you can get some turnovers there. You have the Bills versus New England. Obviously, New England's offense has struggled. They're on the road. Anything you're looking to lock in at defense this week?
No, it's funny that they're the top. Falcons are the top price defense. Falcons are like the 11th or 12th most expensive defense over on FanDuel. So get yourself that little bargain there for sure. I don't mind Arizona if you want to pay down a little bit and check them out against Carolina. I think that's definitely worth exploring. I do like the Colts defense against Tennessee, and there's a little piece of me that doesn't mind using Tennessee against the Colts. We used Tennessee last week, and they got, I think it was like 9 fantasy points.
Yeah, they ended up giving up a lot of points at the end to the Jets,
Yeah.
or to the Bengals, rather. It was 2 weeks ago, I think we liked them. But they were still good against Cincinnati, too. The 2 picks there, 8 and 9. If you can get that again, 100%, $2,600. I don't hate that.
You
for
could
sure.
go if you're not thinking that Jacksonville is any good. You could go really pay down and go with the Raiders defense.
The top roster defense this week on DraftKings are the Bengals with DTR at quarterback.
There you go. Okay.
Obviously, they have a good defensive end there. What's the sack guy they got there? Henderson? Is that right? Is that his name?
Oh, for Cincinnati, it's
who's the edge there?
What's his face? Hendrickson.
I said Hendrickson, right? So they could get after DTR in that spot. So some value defenses there to throw in your lineup. Isaac Orendo officially ruled out as we expected. So, all right, let's get a lineup going here. Let's see. What do we want to do?
Decisions.
I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. I'm just buying in. I'm buying the Caleb Williams. Go Caleb Williams, James Conner, and I guess Jahmyr Gibbs, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty chalky one.
At the comeback there. We'll go Taylor and the util flex play. That's Miami. Defense, I can live with the Bengals at 33. That's fine. Actually, the Titans were way cheaper, right? Were the Titans way down here? Titans. Yeah, let's go Titans. Titans against there. 2,600. All right, so we got $5,500. That kind of flows right into our wheelhouse for the wide receivers we liked more. And Keenan Allen. $5,500 for a tight end. Let's see. What was the cheap tight end you might use? Ben Sinnott? Yeah, I don't really want to do that.
Try, what about Greg Calcaterra? What about the Calcaterra wine mixer, baby?
3,400. It's not terrible. Oh, a Congo. We just talked about this. We're doing tight ends. All right. $7,700 for top wide receiver. Devontae Adams, I guess. That could work.
7,700 for a top wide receiver, you say?
Yeah. We did this. Caleb Williams, James Conner, Jahmyr Gibbs, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen. So we got our Gibbs, Moore, Allen stack with Caleb Williams, Devontae Adams, Chigakonko, Taylor, and Titans. We got $600 left over. Does that get us anything in tight end wise? Not really. Stick with Chig. Flex. Do we like anything over Patrick Williams at $5,800? ETN, Jacoby Myers. Would you do Myers over?
I would probably do Myers in a full point PPR.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Williams, Connor, Gibbs, Moore, Allen, Adams, Okonkwo, Myers, and Titans D.
All right. I built you on FanDuel. I built you a GPP lineup using that disgusting Mac Jones Jacksonville stack.
Oof, what do you got?
How about that? Oh, you know what? I gotta find. Just give me 1 second here. Oh, yes, he does fit. So here you go. Yeah, it's Mac Jones. Running backs are Bijan Robinson. But now you can't play Bucky Irving. But I got Bucky Irving in there going up against Dallas.
You're not helping me with Bucky Irving there, but that's okay.
What's that?
I was trying to build your lineup, but I can't use Bucky Irving.
I know. All right, so leave running back blank. You can go Brian Thomas, Cooper Kupp, Jacoby Myers. He's coming back on my stack.
Okay.
Because I love the ownership that I'm going to get Kupp at.
Okay.
And the discount, too, is just Brenton Strange. Patrick Taylor. Atlanta Falcons.
And that gives me $5,700 in my flex.
Right. Well, that would be Bucky Irving, but since Bucky's not there, you could probably go with I'd probably go with Adam Thielen, but all right.
Adam Thielen, sure.
Oh, is that DJ Moore? All right, I could go with DJ.
DJ Moore. Does DJ Moore fit your lineup if you take him out? But anyways, pivot off of Bender's lineup. Mostly everybody but DJ Moore. Mac Jones, Bijan Robinson, Patrick Taylor, Brian Thomas, Cooper Kupp, Jacoby Myers, Brenton Strange, DJ Moore, and the Atlanta Falcons defense for everybody.
that whole crew on FanDuel, you use Bucky Irving instead of DJ Moore, and you're rock solid.
Bender's got your playbook. We got a Saturday playbook coming up from Dan Malin as well to get you all ready. We also have our holiday sale going on right now, fantasysum.com/holiday. Scan that QR code, get the all pro monthly package, 50% off for the year 2025. That is $19.98 a month for 2025 with our holiday sale. So check it out. Get access to all of our premium content, draft guides, cheat sheets, Discord, tools, you name it. It's there in the all pro package, and that's 50% off for the holidays here. Bender, any thoughts? Final thoughts?
No, I don't have any final thoughts. My final thoughts will all be inside the playbook. So playbook, dartboard, example lineups, Saturday, Sunday. Let's make some money. Put some holiday cash back into your pockets, especially if you were the giving kind this year. You need a little replenishment. So that's what we're here for.
Love it. Love it. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you in the Discord. We'll see you on Twitter. We'll talk to you later.